My goals for this video are to learn algebraic properties and to enjoy Miss L's singing. Properties, properties, come on, you can learn these properties, woo! Properties, properties, here are the most common properties. Don't worry, these may seem overwhelming right now, but we're gonna break them down, ha ha ha! The first property we're going to talk about is the commutative property. The commutative property reminds me of the word communicate. For real! Think about it this way. When we communicate with a friend, it doesn't matter where we stand to do it. Look at the smileys below. They can stand like this to communicate, or they can stand like this. Either way, they are still communicating the same thing. That's the commutative property. A plus B or B plus A times B or B times A. It doesn't matter who stands in front of who, they communicate the same thing. Cool. Now let's kick it up a notch with the associative property. We got this! I think of the associative property like sitting at lunch tables. Okay, so you're sitting at your lunch table. Some days you associate with some groups. Some days you associate with others. Say what? Here's the lunch table. Today you and JoJo are in the group that got to eat first, but Bobby was late, so you aren't associating with him today. He's left out. The next day at lunch, you are mad at both JoJo and Bobby because they are grouped together and got to lunch first, leaving you as the outsider. Basically what the associative property is, like JoJo, Bobby, and you at lunch, but only in math terms. Nope, way. The associative property looks like this in math. Here you see an addition and with multiplication. Looks a lot like the lunch table, huh? It's all about who's grouped with who and associating with who each day. And remember, the group goes first. PEMDAS! The distributive property begins with distributing. What do you mean by that? Distributive is like distribution. It means to hand out or give away. Think back to the lunch table. You got to lunch late and JoJo and Bobby had already grouped up. You were bummed. You wanted to be in with them. The way you could do that is if you are sitting right outside of their grouping, toss yourself at both of them. Are you crazy? I'm not crazy. Each of them is going to have to either let you in, combine with you, or be seriously injured. That's how the distributive property works. You distribute your 4 with your 6 to equal 24 and your 4 with your 5 to equal 20. Now they've combined and nobody's left outside of the parentheses. Add your new 24 plus 20 for a combined answer of 44. The distributive property is all about getting yourself inside the group with JoJo and Bobby. Just remember, no favorites. If you tackle one, you have to tackle the other. Distribute the love evenly. Next we have the identity property of addition, also known as the additive identity. Who, me? Yeah, it all ties together, you'll see. Your identity basically means who you are. Can I see your ID? Hello? What it means in math, too, with the additive identity. If you add any number to 0, the number keeps its identity. It doesn't change. If I'm riding around in my limo, and I add 0 friends to my trip, it's still me riding around in my limo. I don't lose my identity, and numbers don't either. Additive inverse is all about opposites. If you add any number to its inverse or opposite, they will cancel each other out to equal 0. Negative 4 plus 4 equals 0. Cray-cray! Last but not least, the multiplicative inverse property. Did you know that inverse means opposite? Huh? So with this property, remember, inverse means opposite, and you may see it used with fractions, so please note that every number can be placed over 1 and not lose its value. The number 4 is the same as 4 over 1. That's a good example. With the multiplicative inverse, you can take that 4 over 1 example from last page and multiply it by its inverse or opposite, also known as a reciprocal, which would be a negative 1 over 4, and it will always equal 1. Here's your example slide. Multiplicative inverse, example 4 over 1 times a negative 1 over 4 equals 1. You got this! You survived your properties movie, video, whatever you want to call it. You can do it, study hard. Thank you.
Created using Powtoon.